Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video I wanted to share one of my announcements with you that I mentioned in the last video. I've been making goat milk soap again. I made it years ago and I wasn't making it properly. I was stirring it by hand instead of an immersion blender. It was taking hours and hours to come to trace. So I quickly lost interest, but lately I've been interested before, but I always still thought it would be too much work. But lately I've been wanting to find a way to use the goat milk and make some money from it, so I decided I'd try again. And I've been having a lot of fun. I don't really think of myself as artistic or creative, but this can sure be a lot of fun. I made soap yesterday, so I've got a bunch to cut today, but I also wanted to show you some of the ones I'd made a couple weeks ago that are curing, and kind of show you the variety that we've got. This one's my lavender bar. I tried getting a swirl in it. It didn't swirl as well as I would have liked, so I'm still experimenting with that. Kind of put some ridges on the top and some lavender buds. And my soaps are all made with essential oils and natural ingredients, so actually this color is clay. That's why it's not that bold, but I kind of want to stick with that more muted, natural look. This one is just my plain Jane unscented and really unmarked. I kind of just poured it into the mold and let it go. No colors or anything. This one I'm kind of still developing. I don't really like the graininess it's got, and I think that's to do with the color I used. I used alfalfa powder in this one. I'm not real sure. But I'm going to experiment more with this one. This one I call the Simcoe's, and it's kind of a woodsy, earthy bar, and it's named after the local mountains around here, the Simcoe's. And the last one I've already got made is my personal favorite, poppy seed muffin. It just smells so good. It's mainly just citrus and vanilla is what it is, but it kind of smells like a poppy seed muffin, especially with the little poppy seeds and a little bit of orange on top there. What's interesting about this bar is there's actually no such thing as vanilla essential oil, so it's vanilla extract, and it discolors what you put it in. So I just put the vanilla in the layer, or in the swirl that I dumped into this and mixed a little bit. So that's why that's discoloring. But that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. But I do have to keep that in mind when I'm working with vanillas. I can only use it in something I want to turn this color, because that's what's going to happen. So I can't put it in the whole bar unless I want the whole bar to be that color. And this is also clay colored, this yellow. It's quite a bold color for natural colors, but I really like it. Alright, so back to the cutting. This one I've got here, I'm calling apple pie. This is the first time I tried making it. I kind of just invented it and asked some feedback from some siblings and friends and kind of invented this, so we'll see how I like it. I just cut the end piece off so far to kind of give us a good start here. And this is also a clay, and I was surprised how dark it turned out. I thought it was going to be quite a bit lighter than that, and then I put vanilla on top. This white layer is vanilla, so it's going to discolor like you saw that one do, and then it's going to be a couple different shades here, and I just sprinkled some cinnamon powder on top there. And I learned that if you cut it on its side, you disturb the top of it less, especially if you've got like lavender buds. I don't know if you noticed on this bar, when I cut this, I dragged the buds right down through the middle, and that's really not ideal, so if you cut it on the side, I found it doesn't do that. This bar had overheated. I put it in the fridge immediately after pouring it in the mold, but it's still overheated, so we'll see if it's cracked in the middle. It was cracked on the outside before I put it in the freezer. For this one, I was going to do 2 layers, one of one color and one just kind of the plain color. And some of the oils I used in it kind of turned it a bright orange, so I decided I didn't want to do that, so I dumped it back in with the red that I already had mixed. And then I thought, what if I just dump it back in the bowl in the mold without really stirring it, and then I can get some swirls. So I did, on this side. On this side, I don't really see any, so I don't know, it might just be some variation through the loaf, but I think that's something I'm going to experiment with. I really like this. I love that design there. Alright, for some reason it swirled more on the ends than it did in the middle. There's really not much swirl in the middle, but on the ends there is. Look at this end piece. That's going to be an interesting one I'm going to experiment with some more. One of the other ones I did yesterday was a peppermint sandalwood blend, colored with just a little bit of alfalfa powder. I tried swirling it like that one. I'm pretty sure I mixed it too much before I poured it into the mold, so I'm not going to have very many swirls, but let's give it a shot. Oh, this soap is really soft still. Maybe just up at the top. Alright, I love how it smells so far. Yeah, this soap is very soft. I'll be able to work with it, but in the future I think I need to leave this one in the mold a little longer. It's so interesting how different scents and colors make the process of the soap hardening a lot different. And this one I put straight in the freezer, which I've never done before, but with that other one tried cracking, I put this one straight in the freezer and it still tried cracking a little bit. It does have some pretty good swirls. I really like that. Let me get around and show you closer. Come on, here we go. I really like how these swirls turned out. Just about what I was envisioning. The last one I made yesterday is a pine tar, and I scented it with rosemary, tea tree, and eucalyptus. This was something a friend requested. I'd never heard of pine tar soap before this, so we're gonna see how this one turned out. Soap was, people say it's not for beginners, it's pretty hard to make. Yeah, it's a little sticky, it's sticking to the mold. I didn't have too much trouble with it as far as setting up too fast. I just found some tried and true recipes and followed those. Yeah, it's very soft. So I wonder if when you put the molds directly in the freezer, like I did with this one and the peppermint, if they take a little longer to harden than the ones you left out for a while, like the apple pie. So I have to remember that in the future because these ones are messy. These ones are just a real nice dark brown all the way through. I didn't use anything for coloring. That's just the pine tar. They smell quite nice, really. I'm a little worried about that pine tar smell, but they're not bad. Not bad at all. Mary. Welcome to the milk room. I know you've been in here many times before, but we've got a new milking string. You have met her, I guess. This is Mary. She's my Lance daughter that I was mentioning in the kid video the other day that I bred back to Lance. She's a 3-year-old. Those other two I had in here are yearlings. Didn't really mention them much because I'm just trying to milk them and get out. Mary's the girl who won me this ribbon. What do you think, Mary? No comment? Got grain to eat? We've had some mastitis does this year, as well as just some unexplained high somatic cell counts. So I only feed certain milk to the kids to try and keep that out of their system. Supposedly it can make them more prone to mastitis in the future. I don't know if it's true or not, but figured I've got the milk, I'll just do it that way and Err on the side of caution. This year I've also been, with my extra milk, not dumping it until later and then dumping off the cream layer into the kid bucket. Get them a little extra calories. I usually do have to put a little bit of milk from some of the high somatic cell doughs in here. I try to avoid the ones that have had mastitis and are still have lingering effects of that. Try to avoid that from getting into the milk bucket for sure. We had a bit of an outbreak of mastitis this year, and I think it was because we weren't properly cleaning the milkers. We've always just run water through it and then brought it in once a week, once every couple weeks, and scrubbed it out good and soaked it in vinegar. I already did this, didn't I? But I think this year that became not quite enough. I think we had a doe with, she never had acute mastitis, but I think she had just a little bit lingering in her udder and passed it through the milkers onto these other does because it's all on the one side. So it's kind of frustrating, but now I milk everybody in order. Those does get milked last, and then we run bleach through the lines and let it soak in the inflations a little. So far that's been keeping it from spreading any further, but we still need to fix the does that ended up getting it. So, you done? Like a cracker? Good girl, Mary. Had a couple goats come down with some lameness this year, and probably arthritis. They're getting older, but I've been putting them on a little anti-inflammatory. Help that. There you go. Here's your cracker. Goodbye. This is one of Mom's does. She milks 2 of mine in the morning, and I milk 1 of hers at night. We're just milking once a day, so we kind of split them up to get about the same amount of milk morning and night. And this goat hiding back here is my old doe Eclipse. You've known her since the beginning, probably. I think I've had her that long. Unfortunately, this is a young doe that got mastitis. You can probably see from back there how uneven her udder is, how that side is way smaller than this side. So, that's unfortunate. This is Chuckles. She's only 2 years old, and she's a really pretty doe. Could probably really do good at shows if we can fix that. So I'm going to try some stuff on her this fall as well. She's a funny doe. These inflations will ride up on her teats too far and really inflame the area where the teat attaches to the udder if I don't hold them down just slightly. A little bit of an inconvenience, but whatever. Like on this side, she got a pretty good knot up here in this area. And since I've been holding the inflations down, that knot has been getting a little bit smaller. It seems like it's kind of plateaued where it's at now, but we'll see. That could be related to the mastitis as well, and maybe we can help heal that this winter when she's dry. I just run some of the bleach in directly on top of this milk because I'm dumping this milk anyway. So I just run a little bit through, turn the machine off, let these inflations sit in here and soak in this bleach water, get nice and sanitized. I usually wait till she's out because she usually hits this and knocks it all the way off, but guess we missed it tonight. Come on. All the way. Here we go.